For 34 years, he mowed that runway every Sunday. Never missed a week. People laughed, said the old man had finally lost it. But he wasn't crazy. He was waiting. One night, with thunder cracking and the skies howling, a jet with no clearance, no ID, and no warning came screaming out of the clouds. The airstrip lit up, and everything changed. Rain tapped against the rusted roof as Walter sat by the window, staring out at the dark stretch of runway he'd kept alive longer than most could remember. 72 years old, bad knees, and a heart condition. But still he refused to let the place go. His kids begged him to sell. The town called him delusional. But Walter had his reasons. Something about that strip of land felt unfinished, like it was waiting for something. That night, the radio crackled alive. He hadn't touched it in years. Static. Then a voice, broken and panicked. Unidentified aircraft requesting emergency clearance. Coordinates match an inactive strip. Please respond. Walter's blood ran cold. Was someone joking? Was it the storm? He shuffled over, picked up the receiver with a trembling hand, but before he could speak, a deafening roar. He looked up just in time to see it, low and massive, a military jet, sleek and foreign, slicing through the storm like a blade. No lights, no markings. It hit the runway hard, metal screaming against concrete. Walter stumbled outside, soaked instantly, watching in disbelief as the jet screeched to a stop. Then, silence. Before he could move, black SUVs came racing from the tree line. He hadn't even noticed them. Soldiers poured out, faces stern, guns drawn. One of them rushed to Walter and said just 2 words, "Inside, now!" Walter stood frozen. "What is this? Who are you people?" But the soldier didn't answer. Instead, he pulled out a badge. No name, just a symbol. "You weren't supposed to see that." Inside the house, they disconnected the phones, shut the curtains, and scanned every room. Walter sat down, shaking. He felt like a ghost in his own home. "Why my airstrip?" he finally asked. The soldier looked at him, eyes serious. "Because your grandfather made a deal 80 years ago, and tonight, that debt came due." Walter's heart skipped. His grandfather? A deal? What could that possibly mean? But before he could ask another question, a second SUV pulled up. Out stepped a woman in a long coat, soaked from head to toe. Everyone went silent. The soldier whispered, "She's the reason we're here." Walter leaned forward. "Who is she?" The soldier hesitated. "Your family has protected something for decades without knowing. Tonight, she came to collect." The woman stepped into the living room without saying a word. Her eyes scanned everything. The old radio, the faded photographs, the dusty military medals hanging above the fireplace. Walter stared at her. There was something familiar in her face, but he couldn't place it. She finally looked at him and spoke, her voice calm but heavy. "You don't know me, but your grandfather saved my mother's life during the war. He was part of a covert operation, something no one was supposed to know about. Not even you." Walter's heart pounded. He had grown up with stories about his grandfather being a pilot, but they were vague, almost like fairy tales. He never imagined they were hiding something real. "Why now?" he asked. She nodded toward the jet outside. "Because we're in danger, and the only safe landing spot left on this side of the state was this runway. Your grandfather kept this alive for a reason. He trusted that one day someone would need it again." Outside, the soldiers were unloading a metal case from the jet. They carried it like it weighed more than it should. Walter noticed how careful they were, like it wasn't just equipment, it was something more, something alive? He walked to the door, but the woman stopped him. "You might not want to see what's inside." He ignored her warning. Stepping out into the rain, he followed the path of tire tracks until he reached the hangar. The doors were already open, and there, in the center, surrounded by guards, was a child, no older than 10, pale, shivering, wearing a hospital bracelet. Walter's voice cracked. "Who is he?" A soldier answered. "He's what's left of something we tried to control. A military experiment. They shut it down. But someone wanted him gone. That jet was supposed to crash." Suddenly, everything connected. The panic in the pilot's voice, the urgency, the secrecy. Walter's strip, forgotten by most, had saved a life. That night, as the storm eased, Walter sat by the boy, offering him a blanket. The child looked up, eyes filled with confusion and fear. But when he smiled, it was small but real. Walter felt something shift inside him. The years of doubt, ridicule, and loneliness, all replaced by a quiet truth. He had been right to keep the airstrip alive. All those Sundays, all the laughter behind his back. It wasn't for nothing. As the government prepared to relocate the child, the woman returned one last time. "You gave us time and hope. Your grandfather would be proud." Walter didn't respond. He simply looked out at the runway, lit up by the morning sun, and whispered, "He told me to wait." So I did. Tears welled in his eyes, not from sadness, but from peace. Some stories don't make the news. Some heroes don't wear uniforms, but their choices echo for generations. If this story moved you, let us know in the comments. What part touched your heart the most? And tell us, which country are you watching from? Your support keeps stories like this alive. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legacy Tales, where forgotten moments become unforgettable.